Welcome back. Before the break, I did a roundup of this evening's news and social media. Today, we visited the Animal Anti-Cruelty League to speak with General Manager Mpho Hlalele about aggression in dogs, how to prevent your dog from becoming aggressive, and what to do if an accident occurs. Let's take a look at part 1 of that interview.
Nicolette Hartman here with Our City News. We're here at the Animal Anti-Cruelty League to speak to General Manager Mpho Hlalele about animal aggression and responsible pet ownership. Hi Mpho, thank you for having us.
Thank you very much for being here.
So we're at the Animal Anti-Cruelty League, and what is just a little bit that you guys do?
So Animal Anti-Cruelty League, we are based across the whole of South Africa. We've got branches in Johannesburg, Durban, PE. Cape Town is just one of the branches, and we're really focused on rehabilitation, on rescue, on promoting anti-cruelty, obviously on sterilizations, and basically helping the local communities with their animals. We are heavily focused on adoption, so a lot of the animals we do rescue and rehabilitate, we do adopt out. But we've also got a bustling hospital that sees anything from 120 to 140 clients per day. We are open every single day of the year, and it's quite a bit task just trying to help the indigenous communities to make sure that they have access to healthcare, which a lot of people don't.
In regards to rehabilitation, there were the 2 recent stories about the dog attacks in the past couple weeks. What are some signs of maybe aggressive dogs, or what are things that pet owners can do to responsibly raise their dogs?
So it is, it's quite a big topic, and I think everybody has their own opinions as to what is right, what is wrong. One of the things that we always focus on, especially when we see clients with certain breeds, is to remind them about the simple fact of socialization. A lot of dogs are not socialized. A lot of the clients we see are from very low income communities. There's a lot of dog fighting going on, and a lot of these dogs are kept single dogs, chained up all day, never see a person, never see a child, never interact with other dogs, and this is a big problem, and this is one thing that does cause a lot of what we see today as in these attacks. But also the very important fact of sterilization. Now, a lot of the times, I'm pretty sure, and I'm not going to be quoted, but I'm sure almost 100% of the cases we do see of attacks are from unsterilized animals. And that plays a huge part in the behavior of these dogs. Sterilization, both males and females, is so vital for the health of the dog, but also just for the dog to be able to handle interactions, to be able to be amongst other dogs without feeling it has to state its claim and all that type of stuff. So those are the big things that we talk about: socialization and then basic training. I mean, dogs, again, people get these dogs and not realize that they are quite dominant breeds. They can be, but given the right training, given the right guidelines right from the beginning, can truly, make that dog, the softest thing in the world, or indeed the mean, lean machine as they're known to be.
And when it comes to socialization classes, could you go into that a little bit? Is it just socializing the dogs, learning so they know how to be around other dogs, other people? Is it more specific training classes? And
so
what are the cost of them?
Yeah, you've got a combination. I mean, people across the Western Cape, people do it from their backyards to there's big schools that focus on it. What we encourage people to do is simply even just going to a puppy class where the puppy just learns to be around other dogs, learns what's good behavior, what's not good behavior, starts to learn how to be on a lead, starts to learn how to take command and listen to, owner, but also to the point that they learn, certain tricks and certain things to do, which again instills some kind of discipline in them. Puppies and our little dogs are just like little kids. They need a bit of a routine. They also need to know what's right or wrong. They need the rules. And it's not to say to be a hard hand. It's just to say to give them the guidelines as to what's good and what's not. The cost does range. Like I say, we've got a lot of people that will offer very low cost classes because it's a smaller class, whereas the big schools that will obviously have a bit more of a price to them. But the important factor is still there. It's just to get your dogs used to what's right, what's not right, and to get them comfortable with other people, to learn also how to take commands from other people, and then importantly just to be around other dogs in a playful way, in a training way, in a school way, but also just to expose them, because that again it instills the right message in them.
Okay, so in your opinion, dogs are not naturally aggressive creatures, because there are all different kinds of breeds, and just because you are maybe labeled as a more aggressive breed doesn't mean that you are going to be an aggressive dog, per se. So would you say that with the proper training and socialization classes, most likely?
Absolutely. Look, it is really, it is unfortunately us as owners that will then create that monster. You know, we are the ones that are teaching it how to be. So if you are, and this is what we see often, is if you are chained up all day long, you know, you're given one bowl of food a day, if that, you're ignored for half the week, and then you never walked, you never see anybody else, you're stressed and tired and you're cold, and you know, you are just allowing for this dog to become aggressive. You're allowing it to not be able to react normal to people. So it really is us, you know. There is no one breed that is the dangerous breed. It is really the owner that is the dangerous party in the relationship, and it's unfortunate because it is a social thing. You know, in South Africa, socially, it is seen as, you know, the cool person to have the tough-looking dog, and sadly, people are then treating their dogs just like that, just animals that are just kept there to look good and look mean and lean. But it is certainly not to blast all breeds. But I think what we lack often in this country is just a full education about it. So unfortunately now there are so many people, you know, breeding, and there is a problem with backyard breeding. So they're breeding all these dogs that nobody really knows how to look after. So the cycle is continuing, and therefore people assume that this must be how the dog is. It must be aggressive because all the other puppies have been. But it's really just people don't have education about it. They don't know how to look after. You know, funnily enough, we'll see an older lady come in, you know, over the age of, let's say, 70 or 80, and she'll come in with a pit bull. And now again, that pit bull is not dangerous. It's just she's not going to be able to control it. She's not going to be able to show him the right and wrong ways. She's probably not going to socialize the dog. So this dog at some point will overpower her because she will haven't put in any work in the first place. And it's not to put her off having it. It's just to say that she just doesn't have.
She's just ill-equipped to handle.
Absolutely. So this dog is not going to, you know, have the best chance. And so that's where it really stems. And that's what we try to focus on a lot of. Is just the education. It's not to put down any breed. It's just we are a society full of ill information, misinformation, and people are passing on the wrong message, and it's just, you know, it's just causing the cycle to keep going.
In the unfortunate incident that a dog does attack, whether it's another dog or a person, what are proper steps that the pet owner should take? Maybe both legally and just as a pet owner, and how to handle that situation moving forward?
Look, you know, really, depending on the severity of the situation, you know, you do want to report, obviously, either to the police initially, if it involves another person. If it involves another dog, you have to inform the owners of the dogs. You know, they will have to take their dog, obviously, to a vet. You will probably have to be involved, and you should be involved in what happens to that dog. And then it is very difficult. We, again, in the society that we work in, the communities we work with, unfortunately, those type of dogs have very little hope of being rehabilitated, very little. The owners themselves are not equipped to find the help they need. You know, we as a welfare don't have the resources either to offer them a rehabilitation, real rehabilitation kind of facility.
It's important to keep in mind that as an owner of animals, you are criminally and civilly liable for them unless the event was intentionally caused by the victim or was due to their negligence. The owner of an animal is expected to take reasonable precautions to prevent harm to others, in the same way the owner of a dangerous object such as a firearm would be expected to take precautions. Let's take a look at part 2 of the interview with the Animal Anti-Cruelty League.
Are there any signs of aggression besides an actual attack or a bite that would lead someone to believe that their dog could be aggressive? Maybe disobedient or just barking, I don't know, but...
Look, there's a variety, yes. Certainly the dog that can't be approached, the dog that is difficult to control when it comes around other dogs. It's not necessarily a sign of aggressiveness, it's just a sign that this dog doesn't understand how to interact, which can lead to aggression. Certainly if your dog isn't sterilized, and I will always come back to it, but certainly if your dog isn't sterilized, you're going to get higher incidences where it's trying to show its boss, show its dominance over other dogs.
In regards to sterilization, you were saying it's got a lot to do with the hormones. Also, they're maybe just trying to stand their ground, be the more dominant male, but even in females. Is it strictly just the hormones, or what, when it comes to the females, I guess, in terms of like estrogen levels?
Look, testosterone is the hormone that leads it all, and we've all got little bits of it in every single person, but it's the kind of the overkill of it in males that obviously make them a certain way. But certainly females are not exempt from it, and they will be. You know, the sterilization to us is simply just you know, our animals are not living in the wild anymore. There is no need for this natural breeding that people think every dog must have. There really isn't. You know, we keep them boxed up in fences, so they're not natural anymore. They don't roam as they please. You know, we tell them when to go to sleep. So we've modified how they are. Certainly when it comes to sterilization, it's for me almost ridiculous that we also don't modify that. There is no need for them. Health-wise, there's a big need to sterilize, you know, your dog or your cat, simply for the health of the animal. So look, the sterilization is a big part of it. It is a big part of behavior, not removing those organs doesn't allow that dog to mellow out a little bit. It doesn't completely modify them, but it just doesn't allow them to mellow. And just having those bits still in there can lead to things like cancers and that in older age, and you know, conditions we see all the time where in the females, the uterus being there actually allows for pus to accumulate. You know, so there's a list of health benefits to it, obviously, but yeah, our main focus is, you know, you sterilize your dog, you get rid of a lot of problems that could make up the dog that you see today.
Okay. Is there anything else that maybe you feel like people should know? There are so many stereotypes with certain types of dogs. We're talking about pit bulls, and it's unfair, the kind of stigma that it's kind of held against them. But is there anything that you feel like people should know, or pet owners in particular, responsibilities that they should take to be precautious?
Look, I think, you know, for me, it actually stems from when the person gets the dog. You know, please get a dog for the right reason. You know, if you're trying to get a dog for a certain look or a feel, then you shouldn't even be getting one in the first place. It's certainly worth educating yourself about the breed from reliable sources, you know, finding out more about it before you jump into it, not assuming. But the responsible pet ownership is the big one for me. If you are responsible in all areas of your owning a dog, you're going to get a successful dog, whether it's the pit bull, whether it's, you know, the German Shepherd or the Chihuahua. You know, you are just going to get the best out of your dog. You know, you give it all its vaccinations, you get it sterilized at the right age, you keep monitoring its health, you give it good food, you give it a good diet, exercise. I mean, it's a whole combination of things. You're going to give your dog the best chance, no matter what breed. But it's certainly, yeah, I think a lot of people, it's kind of their owning of animals is based on hearsay. So I heard that if I get a dog, it will do this and it'll do that. And sadly that, you know, people then get down the line and they realize that's not it at all. It's, you know, this is a living, breathing animal, and it's going to need love and attention and respect, but it's certainly going to need, you know, you to do everything you can for it, to give it all it needs, and then you'll get the best out of it, no matter what breed it is.
Wonderful. Well,